April 4th, 436. War looms on the horizon. This will be my first entry in this present. A journal. My name is Zumeza Misha. My older sister Gwenda gave me this journal as a going-away present. She's going to be leaving us soon for the much more exciting life of a soldier. Our country, as well as the world itself, is cast in a dark shadow. And Gwenda strongly believes that recording my own thoughts and perspectives about the coming days will be a wonderful exercise. My sister is such a romantic, and she often speaks of how precious and powerful personal perspective is. She constantly says, each person has a story and a perspective to share. There is magic within stories. The world is being drastically disrupted by the threat of war. Had this terrible fate not befallen us as a whole, then my sister would be just starting her 3rd year at university. She's a philosophy major, and she often loves drowning me in intellectual debate and philosophical speculation. I tell her over and over that I'm just a baker, nothing more, nothing less. And yet she always refutes my claim. Gwenda believes, quite fiercely, that even as a baker, my story, my truths, and my perspective will be different than anyone else's, and therefore, it's precious. More often than not, I am on the receiving end of conviction-filled lectures about experience and existence. I don't mind it too much, though. Gwenda is my favorite person in the world. For her, I always play along. As mentioned, I am a simple man, a baker like my father before me. I help my father in our family bakery, and we distribute our fine wares to patrons in our community. I have a small family. My father's name is Osage, my mother's is Lola, and then there are my 2 sisters. My older sister Gwenda, and my little sister Pita. In terms of ages, my sister Gwenda is 20, whereas I'm only 19, and Pita is 11. The world is in a dire state. Here's some basic background context, in case someone should find this journal by accident, however unlikely it is. I'm a citizen of the wonderful country of Romay, and I live in the city of La Fère. La Fère is along the Shrivoli River, although I am aware it has different names in other countries it passes through. La Fère is 30 miles to the southwest of our nation's capital, Starlo. Romay is a peaceful country, although I wonder how much longer we will be allowed that luxury. The Weeb Sea is to the north, and there are 3 countries on our other sides. Bhutan is the nation to the west. Sortig is the country to the south, and the Republic of Skandar is to the east. Discomforting political tension is bubbling up between our neighboring nations, with Bhutan and Sortig standing on one side, and Skandar, as well as other distant countries, are on the other. The foul stink of war is almost perceivable, and it has both me and my family nervous. Should war break out between our neighbors, what would happen to us? Aside from Gwenda, the rest of my family, including me, are not as engrossed in the political shiftings of our nation's leaders, or what goes on in other places. My sister, however, thrives on that sort of gossip, and she would often bring back what she heard from her peers and other unspecified circles of contacts. According to her, some sort of slight occurred between the leaders of our neighboring countries. That small offense has laid the path toward mounting aggression. A week ago, there was a massive town hall meeting in La Fère, and I attended with my entire family. Our mayor, Latrice DeFranco, explained that the Queen of Romay has declared Romay to be neutral in any future conflicts, but we mustn't allow ourselves to be unprepared. Mayor DeFranco asked for volunteers to join the military in case of border conflicts from angered neighbors. She wasn't asking for volunteers that night, but would make the call later that week. When Gwenda announced that she was volunteering, the rest of my family were fairly surprised, but not me. My beloved sister is plagued with a sort of wanderlust and storylust. A few nights ago, she and I had a conversation as to why she had volunteered. Her response still echoes in my mind, as clearly as it did that night. She said to me, "If war breaks out, we will all have to fight. Fight for our families, fight for our loved ones, and fight for our land. We must never surrender, and so rather than wait, I'm going now, where the stories will be the most exciting." My dear sweet sister Gwenda, always the story chaser. To be honest, I think she wants to be there when history blossoms forth. Gwenda will be leaving for Starlow in the morning, where all the other volunteers are supposed to travel to. She gave me this journal as well as a sacred charge. She challenged me to write about how I saw history unfolded, and what my thoughts and perspectives were. Gwenda wants to switch journals after this whole thing ends so we can share our stories with one another. She showed me her journal, which she had already started as soon as she first heard about the conflict. If it were anyone else, I wouldn't have really honored this sacred charge. But this is Gwenda. For her, I'll write in it. It's late, so I'll finish this first entry. May the goddess watch over my sister and Remay. Zumez. April 5th, 4:36. My sister left today, and I will admit I'm frightened for my sister. She is exceptionally bold and intelligent, but the world is a large place, filled with bold and intelligent people, and people die every day. I don't suppose I have many thoughts to share yet. I pray to the goddess that the dark specter of war passes over Remay and leaves us alone. We want no part in its dance. Zumez. April 16th, 4:36. With my sister gone, the duty of staying informed has fallen to me. Since I'm the only one who makes the bread deliveries to our patrons and walks all over the city, it made most sense that I should be the one to carry the charge. I'm able to glean rumors and hearsay from various sources. Here is a condensed version of what I told my family. Various townfolks have heard from traveling merchants that things on the political stage between Bataan, Sortig, and Skendar have worsened. Trade agreements and relationships have ceased between the two opposing sides, and there have been sightings of actual troop mobilizations in the countries headed toward their own prospective borders. I have it on good authority that the King of Bataan is quite furious with our queen, as Remay's stance of neutrality stands firm against growing aggression. So far, Skendar has been quite quiet with regards to infringing on Remayan borders, and I'm not certain if this is a blessing or a foreboding omen. The city of Lafair had over 2,000 volunteer soldiers, and it's been said that the current standing Remayan army is around 26,000 troops by some accounts, while others say it's as high as 40,000. Imagining that many soldiers is a little overwhelming, especially when considering the size of Remay as a country compared to our other three neighbors. Remay is the smallest, and if we were truly able to marshal as high as 40,000, how much higher would the Bataan, Sortigian, and Skendarite armies be? By the goddess, I hope my sister will be okay. Zumez. April 21st, 4:36. We finally received a letter from Gwenda. At the moment, Gwenda is going through a rigorous boot camp in order to prepare her for any potential threats. The training camp should be completed in a few more weeks, but her commanding officers allowed her battalion to write home if they chose. Gwenda has been assigned to the 35th Infantry Division, specifically with the 141st Company. Rather than be a normal soldier, she has been assigned the title of aide-de-camp for the division's commanding officer. In her letter, Gwenda explains that she was given the option of not doing the basic training, but she elected to go through it along with her countrymen and countrywomen. She also included in the letter that she wanted to go through basic training for the stories. Gwenda told us some news directly from the capital, and to be honest, it was more than a little upsetting. All of the information she shared with us was allowed, and she did mention there were some things she couldn't tell us. What sort of secrets fester within my sister's soul? Were they any more dreadful than what she did tell us? Firstly, Skendar has officially declared war on Baton and Sortig, and the southern principality of Ocean Dare is among Skendar's allies. Luckily for us, Ocean Dare is too far away to be a Remayan problem, but it will be a Sortigian one. As far as Gwenda knows and is allowed to say, Skendar has made no qualms or frustrations related to the Remayan neutrality or its borders. Baton, on the other hand, is very upset and has threatened to march into Remay to get to Skendar. That, of course, would be an act of war, and Baton knows it. Remay knows it, and Skendar knows it. Is that why Skendar is being so quiet and polite? While she didn't say it exactly, Gwenda did lightly mention she was going to get a closer view of Baton in the near future. There was also a strange line in her letter, one that held deeper implications, I'm sure. She said, "Tell Pita not to play by the river anymore. She could fall in." Pita never played by the river. Ever. Cold spasms danced up and down my back, and my family and I discussed the true meaning of the statement. She finished off the letter by telling us that she loved us and that she missed us dearly. She also had a special line just for me. It simply said, "I'm still writing in my journal, Zumez. You had better be doing it too." I'm glad to hear that my sister is well for the moment, although the real struggle will be coming over the horizon faster than I would like. I can almost feel the quill of destiny slowly etching the days upon the pages of history. I can't tell if it's a blessing or a curse to be living during times like these. Zumez.